Today we are going to be going through each and every single one of the Call of Duty Zombies games, yes, even including non-Treyarch ones, and what we're going to do as we go game by game is stop at that game and try to figure out which is the worst map from that specific Call of Duty game. And as we go through all the games, we will figure out which one is the worst from each of the games. Now what I'm doing here may seem familiar because I actually did something very similar to this in the previous video, but it was kind of the complete opposite, because instead of trying to figure out which is the worst map from that game, instead we were figuring out which one was the best one. And if you guys missed that video, it'll be linked on screen now to kind of see the contrast version of this video. Either way though, let's not waste any more time and get into this list of Call of Duty Zombies games' worst maps. World at War, Nacht der Untoten. So what it came down to for me was between Nacht der Untoten and Verrückt, because the other maps, they were just better than these two. And I thought of these two maps, I'm thinking about Verrückt. It has a lot of like not very zombies playable area. It's very condensed and kind of difficult, whereas on Nacht at least there's somewhat a chance of training. But in the end, what it came down to is, first, Nacht's early rounds take way too long. The zombies take way too long to get into the map, and it just gets boring at a point. Also, Verrückt does have a creepy atmosphere that a lot of people like to point out, and probably more importantly, it actually has perks on the map, and because of that, Nacht der Untoten is the worst map on World at War. Black Ops Zombies 5. So 5 is here because it's not really close with everything else. I mean, sure, I'm not a big fan of Shangri-La, but I'm not about to say it's worse than 5. 5 is a travesty. It's one of the worst zombies experiences out there by just being plain bad. It's not because they were trying something new and it just didn't work. It was just bad. I mean, the map layout's terrible. It's not fun to play. It's not fun to train. It's not fun to do almost anything on the map. The wonder weapon's terrible, which doesn't really help its case. And of course, it has the effing Pentagon Thief who just steals your weapons randomly, which isn't great either. So because of that, I think 5 easily is the worst map on Black Ops. Black Ops 2 Transit. So this came down to between the first two maps in this game, Transit and Die Rise, because I mean the last three were just so good. It's crazy how they went from 0 to 100 real quick in this game, starting off with Transit and Die Rise and then finishing off with effing Mob of the Dead, Buried in Origins. Like, that was just an insane turnaround, but either way, not the point. The point is Transit's the worst, and I really think that the only reason Transit beats out Die Rise is because I just think Transit is just worse. I mean, I could go on a giant list of all the problems with Transit, whether it be the map being so big that it's horrible to play on co-ops because you're never around your teammates, or the fog, denizens, Pack-a-Punch. Oh my gosh, I hate the Pack-a-Punch quest in this game. The fact that it doesn't permanently stay open after you open the first time blows my mind till this day. Like, there's just so much bad in this map. Advanced Warfare Exo Zombies. Black Ops 3 Zetsubo no Shima. So I know when I say this, it sounds like a humongous cop-out because who doesn't say Zetsubo is the worst map on the game, but I really feel like it's probably true, and I don't take any pleasure in saying that because I don't think Zetsubo is a bad map. It's just everything else is better, and that's just what happens when you release during Black Ops 3. It has a lot of bangers. I mean, sure, Revelations you could say wasn't as good as the other ones that were there, but I still think with all the problems Revelations has with its Easter egg and story, I still think it has great flow, is super fun to play, it looks amazing, the casual play is great, the fact that you use a thunder gun in the Apothicon Survey at the same time, it's just amazing. And because of all that, I just don't see what Zetsubo has compared to all the other maps that makes it better. Infinite Warfare Zombies, The Beast from Beyond. So this one actually is not what I originally had written down here, because when I wrote this down originally, I had Shaolin Shuffle. And that's because I conflate Beast from Beyond with the Super Easter Egg, and you can't really blame me for that. This is how you actually do the Super Easter Egg. You have to play Beast from Beyond and beat its Easter egg to get to the Super Easter egg. But I have to remember that it's not one and the same thing, and if you take the Super Easter egg away from Beast from Beyond, oh boy, does it have little going for it, if anything at all. I mean, I just can't even think of anything good about this map at all. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really don't think that there is almost anything on this map that is good. World War II Zombies, The Darkest Shore. Now, some may say it's the Tortured Path, but fun fact, I don't even consider that a map because it's that, I don't even know what to call it. It's just not a zombies map. It's just not. It doesn't count. I don't care what anybody says. So it's the Darkest Shore. Darkest Shore, let's talk about why that's bad. It's terrible. Fog, the Muchlers or whatever they're called, like those are terrible. The boss fight's terrible. The Easter egg getting to the boss fights, everything's bad about this map. The wonder weapon is dumb as hell. Like, it just has a bouncing blade that goes around. Like, okay, who asked? And I mean, there's just not anything good. Black Ops 4 Zombies. Now, I see what's written on my list right here, but you know what? I disagree. I changed my mind right in the spot during recording. Yes, we're doing this. No, Dead of the Night is not the worst map in Black Ops 4. It's actually Alpha Omega. F that map. I hate it so much. I do not like playing it in the slightest. It is just not fun to play. I don't know what is good about it. Sure, Dead of the Night has some major problems during its Easter egg, and its pack punch quests aren't great. Don't get me wrong here, but at least its high rounds and wonder weapon are cool, and also the map looks amazing, right? Whereas Alpha Omega doesn't have anything going for it. It's just bad in every way. The wonder weapon's terrible. It's just a reuse and worse versions of the Ray Gun Mark II. So what's the point of that? It's literally a remake of Nuketown. Who the F asked for that? The Easter egg sucks. The boss fight's even worse. Like, what is good about this map? The only redeeming quality of this map is the fact that we had Ultimates and Primus both in the same map, and we had conversational quotes between them. Like, that's literally the only good thing about this map. Nothing else. Cold War Zombies, Firebase Z. So I know some people would put Outbreak here, but Outbreak, unlike Vanguard Zombies, was actually good. You know, people may not believe that after seeing what's going on with the objective base that's going on in, you know, Vanguard, as I mentioned, but it actually wasn't as bad. I do think Firebase Z was a very not great zombies experience. I don't think many people would consider it a great zombies experience in the slightest. The wonder weapon is kind of cool, but at least on controller it's really clunky to use when you're trying to swap between firing modes, and it's just not fun in that sense. The Easter egg has some terrible steps. I mean, the mimic step is just like one of the most dumb steps of all time. It was like Shades of Revelations out here, right? And it was only made worse by the fact that the boss fight was just a reused, even easier version of a fight that you could do on round 30. I mean, honestly, how is the round 30 fight more difficult than the actual boss fight? That will blow my mind till the day I die. Like, anytime I think about that, I'm thinking like, what was the logic there, Treyarch? Like, what were you thinking? And honestly, I just don't know what is good about Firebase Z. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. I love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on everything I said during this video, whether you agree or disagree with me. I'd love to hear that. Also, down in those comments, leave your version of this list. How would it look compared to mine? I'd love to see that too. Either way though, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be. And laters, guys.